Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive look into technical running socks. It's a conversation we have on a daily basis downstairs. When we're fitting a running shoe, we're often talking to that person about their running sock choice. Now, it's so important to get that partnership right. Now, a sock can have a big impact on the overall fit and performance of a shoe. Now, it's surprising because it's one of your cheapest purchases as a runner, buying a good running sock. So getting that right is so important. Now, we're talking about moisture management, we're talking about blister management, we're talking about a little bit of cushioning as well. So those three components come into the conversation. We're talking all things technical running socks. So we don't want to inhibit the performance of a running shoe by a misfitted running sock. Blisters, hot feet, burning. We've probably all experienced that form of discomfort before with our runs out in the road, and a lot of it can do with your sock selection. So in today's discussion, we're going to take a deeper dive into the running sock as a categories per se. We'll look at your thinner socks right through to your cushion socks, give you a bit of a debrief on what is actually in them in regards to the materials and the components, and hopefully answer some of those questions that you have around running sock selection. So let's get stuck in. Okay, before we jump into today's review, talking all things socks, let's just have a brief discussion about why you should be considering a performance sock in the first place. Now, in front of me here, I have got Features Elite Technical Running Sock, valued $30 Australian, and I have got a basic 3-pack of New Balance Crew socks here at $15 Australian. You would probably perceive that to be great value for money. However, vastly different in performance, vastly different in comfort, vastly different in moisture management properties. So when we're looking at socks and we're looking at pairing them to a good performance running shoe, more often than not in Australia here, we're looking at around $180, $200, if not more, for a good performance running shoe. Therefore, let's put a good performance running sock around your feet and make you enjoy your runs even more. By doing something like a 3-pack of basic socks, look, you're just doing yourself a disservice, I feel. Yes, some of you out there might say, well, I just do that and it's absolutely fine for me. Yeah, that's true. But there's a vast majority of you that need help with moisture management, need help with comfort and cushioning, and also obviously need help with some form of blister prevention with regards to technical socks. So that's how we sort of look at it, and that's how we weigh up, should we go for a technical sock over a basic sock. It's so important to get that shoe and sock combination, that shoe and sock partnership absolutely spot on, and that's what we aim to do today, give you all the information you know. So let's jump in. Okay, first category running socks we're going to be talking about is our ultra thin running socks. So I have got Steigen. Steigen are a performance brand sock, and I've got the 2XU Vector Light Cushion. This little guy here is very popular downstairs here at Sportitude Running. But to give you some context around all three and what they actually do, the Steigen running sock brand has been around now for around 8 years, and they are a pretty popular sock in regards to their offering. They're extremely thin. That would be the thinnest sock that we carry here at Sportitude. It almost feels like you've got no sock on your foot at all, that sort of barefoot experience. Now, there will be some people out there that like that, but it does change the overall fit of the shoe. So if you do need to fill up the volume, we wouldn't suggest going for the Steigens, that's for sure. The other thing to note is Steigen have around 20% of the properties in their socks to be lycra, pardon me, and the other being 80% component is made up of a nylon property material. So with 20% lycra, that is actually a lot of lycra for a sock. Now, the reason they do so much is because they only have one size. They've got 5 to 12 with regards to their unisex fitting, and they do offer smaller sizes now, which is a great thing, which is caters for the smaller women's feet and the kids market as well. But being pretty generous, from 5 to 12, they need to be able to expand and stretch out quite a lot. And with that in mind, they're the only technical sock downstairs that we carry that don't have left and right foot padding. Therefore, main reason being is there's so much give or take with the amount of elasticity within that sock. So the other sock, which we touched on, is the 2XU Vector Light Cushioned. Now, this guy here does come in left and right padding. It is very, very light and very, very breathable. The main difference between this sock and what we have with Steigen is the padding underneath the foot. It's a little bit thicker, so you get a little bit more cushioning underneath the foot. However, the top of the sock is a very light material. Now, the difference between the properties of the Steigen versus the 2XU is you've got around 88% of the makeup of this shoe is in nylon, and then around 12% of the properties are in that lycra material. So there's a little bit of elasticity, but by nowhere near as much as the Steigens. Both of them very popular, but as I touched on, if you're looking to increase the volume of your shoes, we would probably steer away. Next category of sock is probably where we see most of our conversations trending towards. Now, we call it the cushion category. A little bit like the running shoes that we talk about downstairs. There are max cushion, there are balance cushion, there are cushioned, etc., etc. You get the gist. So with the cushion category of running socks, we have kind of the best of both worlds. A bit of Goldilocks. They're not too thin, they're not too thick. They're just right for the majority of runners out there. So what we will talk about here is, first one is the light cushion from Features. Now this kind of could have fallen into that thinner category of socks. However, it is significantly thicker than the Steigans, and so therefore we tend to nudge it towards this cushion category. Left and right foot ventilation channels, left and right foot padding. Very comfortable sock, very popular downstairs. The other sock we have in front of us here is the Light Feet Light Run sock. Now, Light Feet have been around for a number of years. The Light Feet Evolution, which we'll talk about in 2 secs, has been around for the best part of a decade plus. But this is a category of sock that they've only just introduced in the last couple of years because they were kind of missing the mark. They didn't really have that lighter, thinner sock on offer. Now, this is not thin by any stretch, but it was the Evolutions are significantly thicker, and we'll talk about that in the next category of socks. But again, with the Light Feet Run socks, really comfortable arch wrap in these so you don't get too much slippage through mid-stance, and the perfect amount of padding in the heel and the forefoot, which is split by that segmentation of arch wrap. The next sock, which is a bit different than the first sock we talked about from 2XU, this is the Vector Cushion sock. Now, Vector Cushion is their most popular running sock. 2XU being a compression brand, you are right in thinking that these will be a bit firmer on the foot, and they are. It doesn't matter if it's the thin sock, it doesn't matter if it's the cushion sock, they're quite firm on the foot. So that's probably their unique point of difference. If you like a good firm fit around your heel through to your arch and that toe box, hey, you'll probably enjoy the 2XU sock range. But the cushioned version of the Vector is a nice balanced cushion shoe, sock, pardon me. It does fill up the toe box a little bit more than what we would expect from this category. So what I mean by that is if you're looking for a little bit more volume through the front half of your toe box, but you like a really firm fit, it's kind of hard to get that balance right from the whole sock industry. So the Vector Cushion sock does exactly that. The final one in this category is Folky or Folk. Depends on where you're from in the world, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, but I'll call it Folky. The Folky running sock range and the Advanced Performance Stride here is a very comfortable sock. Not too dissimilar than the Features. It's not quite as thin as this little guy, but it's very, very similar. And the Balaga running sock range, Folky and Balaga have kind of been side by side for a number of years. It's almost like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, so similar. Now this sock here has, again, the left and right foot padding, which is what you would expect from a performance running sock. However, not quite as firm as the other three we've talked about in the arch wrap. It's got a little bit of arch wrap, so there's some elasticity there around the arch, but not quite as tight as the 2XU, Light Feet, Performance Running, and the Features socks. So again, if you don't like that real sort of snug, tight fit, you want something a little bit more loose, a bit more relaxed, but nice padding underneath, but thin on top, Folk is a great option for you. Last category of socks we're going to talk about is Max Cushion category. So I've got Features Max Cushion, I've got Light Feet Evolution, and I've got the Balaga Blister Resist. So all of them are quite different from each other. Now, Max Cushion is a category that we could loosely throw that terminology out there to you because it's a bit like running shoes. One brand perceived their shoes to be max cushioned is vastly different from another brand's perception of max cushion. But with the Features max cushioned, it's not quite as thick as the Light Feets and it's not quite as thick as the Balagas through here. So the reason they found it into the max cushion category is because they are thicker than the previous versions of socks we talked about. They have left and right foot padding and ventilation channels, which is what you'd expect, but the arch wrap isn't quite as tight as the previous category of balanced cushion socks. Now the reason being is you've got to get that mixture of firmness and mixture of cushion right with the sock. If it's too tight, generally speaking, we tend to find it's not going to be comfortable if you've got heaps of padding underneath the foot as well, because you're kind of making it quite firm and getting that counterbalance of cushioning underneath. It can be a little bit of a miss, but in regard to the Max Cushion sock, they've got it right here from Features. Light Fit Evolution, well, it doesn't need a lot of introductions here in Australia. It is extremely popular. Heel padding, forefoot padding, split by this arch wrap material. A lot of elasticity through here, so it is a firmer sock on the foot than the Max Cushion from Features, but splitting that heel and forefoot cushioning has been a very popular thing for this sock, and it's subjective whether you like that. Some people like the cushioning to go the whole way through the foot, but that is very comfortable. Balaga Blister Resist sock. Now, all these socks we've talked about today have properties within them and have engineering features that will reduce the risk of blisters. This sock here claims to do that by the properties in which they use within their sock. They have around 60% of the sock makeup is through your nylon or polyester materials, and 30% of the properties in this sock is made up from your organic fibers, which is wool. So therefore, they can get that management right of moisture and management right of overall ventilation within the sock absolutely right. Belega, in regards to their brand, they are a brand that's very well known across North America, and we're very well known across Europe and South Africa for that. The reason being is they're actually quite popular in that hiking category. So the trail category have a lot of great socks within that category of socks. But here in Sportitude Running, we found the Blister Resist sock to be a very good option for us if we want to increase the volume in the running shoe and someone's looking for a lot of comfort, a lot of padding underneath the foot, whether it's they want that feel, they want that proprioception underneath the foot, or they're not getting it out of their shoe. We can certainly achieve that with this sock here and the Light Fit Evolution, and also the Max Cushion here from Features as well. Okay, thank you for tuning in to our sock discussion today. We went over 3 different categories: thin, balanced cushion, and max cushioned, and hopefully giving you some context around why those 3 categories exist and how we fit them downstairs here at Sportitude Running. Now, just to address the key couple of takeaway points is that the sock is the only protection between the shoe and your foot. So getting the thickness, getting the ventilation, and getting that moisture management right is so important. We don't want to run the risk of a blister, or don't want to run the risk of hot spots that can occur with an ill-fitted sock, or a sock that's just not up to standard with regards to your shoe selection or your running shoe selection for performance. So getting that right is so important, and hopefully with the 3 different categories of cushioning, you can start to see the separation or market separation between them all, and getting an understanding of the left and right foot ventilation channels and left and right foot cushioning supports underneath your foot. So guys, if you've got any questions about what we touched on today with sock selection, let us know in the comment section below. If you've got a favourite running sock and it wasn't one that we've discussed, let us know. We always like to hear from you, the running community, because if we're missing an opportunity with bringing a good performance running sock to market, well then, you know what, we're not doing our job right. So let us know. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep doing shoe reviews or sock reviews or whatever it is you want to hear from us. Let us know down below. And until next time, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and no blisters. We'll see you next time.